What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of SMC Roblox Dev Labs. What you can see is a bunch of failed videos. Um, that is because first one, I forgot to unmute myself. Have I actually unmuted myself this time? I have. So the other one was I forgot to remember press record on the modeling of this, and yeah, overall it's been great. And then I tried to voice over, and obviously that didn't work because it's a scripture video. So let's see if we can get this one right. So what we've got in this scene is the code from the last video. Well, one of the last videos, which is the on leave and joined, which is player joining. So player joining is obviously setting. If you haven't seen that, I should hopefully leave a key, um, or a card, sorry, in the video here, to that video, which is how to create a table system to hold. It's quite detailed, so you may have to watch two of the videos, which is how to make. It is in the simulator, which is why it is a good watch, but I'll send you there if you want to learn this. Now,
Yeah, I'm different. Nah, I don't fit their system.
what we need is the entirety of that script and the player leaving script, because then we have our own table system. Even if we don't want to use all of these variables, we can actually have our own um, system here. So it's reusable as anything. I just literally dropped it in and then I made it work through the dropper. This is going to be changed eventually, but before we do that, let's talk about like how we've laid out the assets to get to this far. So what we have is I've created a plot. So in the workspace for now, because eventually I will be putting this into the replicator storage, for now we have a plot with a certain amount of droppers, right? We could eventually, and I am hoping to, get a placement system down for this to try and explain how that works, because that's projecting array from your screen to then, or from your mouse, or from like wherever you like. It depends on what console you're using. If you're using phone, it'd be different. It would be more likely from your screen. But before we get into that, we're just gonna go. We've got an object holder, which this is where all the objects are gonna go. So when we go into the dropper script, as you can see, the created item, which is a clone of the object. Now, how it's a clone of the object is we have the ability to first create a part, and then let's make this metal, and then let's give it like a darker gradient. So here we go, increase the reflectiveness of it, and then maybe like the transparency by 1 just to make it look a little bit less efficient. And then let's call this or 3 because this is the third time I've tried. And then what we can do is have a look at over here. So what we've got is a check for collider. So if we go and grab this, which this entire thing will be available for Patreons who have bought me one coffee, only one coffee. And then all the other scripts will actually be issued into the Patreon for free, so be sure to check it out. I should hopefully remember to post a link. But what we're doing is we're adding, so what price is a int value. So if you want to do this without actually going and taking the module, you get an int value, and then you can put it into here. This is why it's so much easier using the module, because of the fact that there's going to be a lot of things that you're kind of missing before you get into creating it otherwise. So here we've got OR3. So what we can do with OR3, now we have check for collider. So check for collider, just make sure that when we are hit, because this is now a prefab technically, we are going to find if what the OR is, so which is our script parent, so the OR, and then we're going to use the game.getServices players just for now to add it, and then this is going to check if it hits a collider, then it will give some money. If it doesn't hit a collider, then it will return, and you've got to make sure that it will also destroy the object, otherwise you'll just have them sat there. So to run this find collector function, it will happen whenever it is hit. So this is why we have the return here, because we just don't want it clinging. There's no need for it to think any more of it. It's just saying return as soon as it's not the collector and it knows it's not collector, it will just ignore it. So we can now actually set a price for this object. So let's maybe set this to 15, and then let's go over to a dropper. So did we create a dropper? So we didn't create a dropper. So let's take this ice dropper over here. So if I grab this ice dropper and then I control D to duplicate it, I will call this, oh, we do have a raw iron dropper. Where is that? Oh, interesting. That's what did I call this? Oh, this is all three. So this is like fake iron. Let's just call this I have no idea what to call it then. Right. Where did the ice dropper go? There we go. So let's call this coal. Coal dropper then? That'll that's probably I don't know if coal I don't think coal's a metal, is it? Is it? Let's just go for a rock then. There we go, that's more coal like. So now I've got all three. What we can do is we can grab it and put it into ores, which this is just a folder in replicator storage. Now, what we can do is we can go over to our raw, not the raw, right, the coal dropper script, and then instead of ore2, we can do ores3. Now, this is literally finding the replicator storage. I think I've gone over this. And then once we've got the replicator storage, we're going to find OR1. Now, we can set this to OR2, but I've just left it at OR1 because I'm just changing these. It is a little bit lazy. I should really be doing this, so I will do this for this one. And then where's the other one? Ice dropper, maybe? This should be 2. This should be 2. And I think that's it. Right, so I've not been lazy anymore, so don't judge me. Here we go. So what I was talking about is now that it's oh, this is producing the hammer, don't want that one. What we've got is we are now going from the replicator storage to find ore3. Now ore3 is what we just created, which is the coal block, and then we are finding the plot. Now the plot is the object holder, so this is inside of our plot. It will hold the objects here, and then drop location will be the drop location, which is just a hidden object that will actually hold where it's going to spawn. And then the timer, let's say the coal's a bit terrible to drop, so maybe 5 seconds every drop, and then we'll just do while true. So we could do while this is active or such, but for now we don't need to do that. And then now that all that's set in, we've literally changed one thing, well, two, three things in order to get a brand new item. Now we don't have to remember we don't have to do all that messing around anymore, and we can go into the neon and let's turn this here, and then press play. So what we should see is the coal block is being created, and that's also giving us, obviously it's being created a little bit wonky because the drop position isn't correct yet, but what that's doing is creating the exact instance that we wanted. So I think, again, yeah, this is going to have to be it for today's episode because it's getting up to 10 minutes. I will be talking next week about how to create the item. If you were quick enough, you could pause it on the screen, but I will explain it all in the next episode. So, peace.
Yeah, I'm different. Nah, I don't fit their system. So let the match class act, that's a fact. Never backtrack. ADD's my life hack. Addicted to spitting rap. Angels on my back. Triple one, telling me to carry on.